All right, what's good, everyone? I want to make this video very quick, and yeah, I want to make this video very quick. I just want to touch on a few things because one thing that I'm starting to realize, and the reason I want to make this video is because I want to just show you guys how hypocritical and how demonic this world is. And when I say all this, I don't want you guys to take what I'm saying and be pessimistic and just look at life like there's no hope. I don't That's why I don't want this channel to be. That's why when I speak about certain things like this, I like to give you guys solutions and transmute and how to, and things to transmute it, because we could always turn lemon from to lemonade. We can always transmute negative energy. So my goal is not to just make you guys feel depressed and like there's no hope and we can all trauma bond on, or we could come together on some negative bullshit. That's not what my whole channel is about. So I like to give solutions, but I like to also call out the bullshit. I always like to call out the bullshit. And one thing I see is, I see this with people in general, because a lot of people say it's only catered towards men, but this is catered towards everyone, not just men. And this is like, because you'll have people say like when you get older, no one gives a fuck about you and no one cares, and you can't complain and all this other shit, which people like to just put it towards men, but I think it's to anyone who's really of a certain age group. People don't give a fuck about you, and this is why the world is so cold. And I'm not saying people need to care, because at this point in my life, I've developed so much care for myself, and I have so much, not even just to care for myself, I just have so much knowledge and intelligence. Forget the care. Even though I do have that, I have so much knowledge and intelligence that I automatically see people as lesser than me, weaker than me, and they ain't shit. So what can they possibly do for me? That's how I see like 99% of people in my life, including family. So like, what the fuck can they do for me? Because they can't even help themselves. So when people show me that energy of not caring, it doesn't really get to me, because most people and everyone in my life, to be honest, I don't think I've seen anyone in my life, personal real life, they can't even take care of their own shit. So how can you expect them to actually care for you? So it doesn't really get to me like that anymore. Plus I know I'm more intelligent than them, and they're lesser than me spiritually, and they're more inferior than me. So I don't it doesn't affect me. But I do see it. People, they don't show you any type of care, and it but they expect you to care. Like, you'll have people that they won't, let's just say they may not help you financially. Like, there was a time I was in a very um bad financial rut where I didn't have shit. I'm still getting my finances together and learning about wealth, and I'm on that way to getting there, but I was in a very bad financial rut. And then people wouldn't help me. But then when I went and got it the way I needed to get it, people will complain on how I get it. And I'm like, why? Like, the reason I got it the way I got it was because ain't nobody showed me no care. Like, cause like they'll not help me, and then I'll go and get it the way I get it, or just as with anything, and I, regardless if it's finance, and I'll go get it the way I get it, and then they'll have the audacity to be like, why do you do it like that? Don't you have sympathy? Don't you feel bad for what you're doing? And it's like, why would I feel bad if the reason I'm doing it is because at one point I felt bad because of the external factors involved. This is why you have a lot of cold-hearted people in this fucking world. Like, I seen this video of this, like, it was a black kid in New York. He pushed some old bitch down the fucking stairs and I guess busted her fucking skull. And yeah, it's sad and all, and I can see how people can see it's sad, because I like to put my shoes in people's I like to put myself in people's shoes, so I can see how it's fucked up when I put myself in other people's shoes. But when I actually look at the whole matter of the fact, is like, ain't nobody care about that fucking black kid. No one cared about him. They put you in the hood. put you through all this shit. They put drugs in the hood. They put guns in the hood. They put all this crap in the hood. Put poverty, low income. I'm not saying you can't make it because all these stupid dumbass niggas. Oh, you saying that you can? It's not the point if you can make it. There's plenty of black people that made it in the hood, but it's the principle of the fact. Why the fuck is a black kid have to grow up in that environment, and then you got Asian people and families and all this other shit? They're not put in that environment to have those mistakes made, so it can lead to shit like this that we can all, they want to throw the rock and hide their fucking hand. There's a reason the black kid obviously felt, because they say, oh, he had no sympathy, these kids nowadays are ruthless. I don't blame them that they fucking ruthless, because if you put a motherfucker in a goddamn cage and start poking at it and throwing shit at it, when you finally let him out the cage to go get some food, he's gonna be a ruthless animal compared to the other people who are in the fucking cage. So this leads to cold-heartedness. It leads to sinister behavior, having a cynical attitude towards society, which can lead to somebody not giving a fuck and pushing somebody's grandma down the fucking stairs. And I'm not saying that's right, but why the fuck is the system creating environments to get people to a certain mindset where they feel that's fucking necessary? And then when the kid does it, you disregard all the facts that got him into that position, and you just look at what he just did, which I'm not saying he shouldn't get punished or whatever, but me, when I look at it, I'm not saying he shouldn't get punished, because obviously that's somebody's grandmother, he needs to get punished, but I don't, I think I'm not angry at him. I'm, if anything, I'm angry at this stupid ass system and the people who create and run this shit, and then they want to throw the rock and hide their fucking hand and then act like, oh, he shouldn't have done that. But it's like, if a motherfucker homeless person is on the street and they're freezing to death, if they don't have money to pay rent, no one gives a shit. You need to go get money to pay rent. But if that same homeless person went in a bank and robbed somebody and blew somebody's fucking brains out for the goddamn money in the cash drawer, then that's a problem now. Which money is fake. Money they type into a computer. It's to a point now where they literally type in, it's not even, fuck the cash. There's no cash no more. You got Bitcoin, we got cashless society coming. There's no cash no more. So you can't say it comes from trees. It's typed into a fucking computer. But yet somebody doesn't have digits typed onto their fucking cell phone screen. If they don't have those digits on that screen, they can't afford, and they gotta freeze to death and no one cares. But if that person does a crime or he does a scam or kill somebody, it's a problem now. Get the fuck out of here. You're not gonna have me feel sorry. That's why I don't really, every time I see somebody doing some fuck shit, and it's catered towards because of some fake ass system that's created, I don't care. Like, I don't give a fuck. And it's not good that I don't give a fuck, because other people also don't give a fuck, and this is where you have certain crime and sinister behavior. And it's like, me, I'm spiritually inclined, so I know, but there's other people who aren't spiritually inclined and they don't know and they don't care, so this leads them to not have sympathy. This is why we have a lot of people with no sympathy who are fucked up, and it goes to all levels. Maybe it not be a criminal, but even other people, like, you got a lot of these people that just do other shit that just ruin people's lives, and it's like, it's all catered because this society, it creates a lot of fucking foul people. So it's like, I just felt like I needed to say this, because you got so many lost people in this world, and the reason they're lost is because of some fake ass system. And then they want to blame you for it, for doing that, for doing certain actions that was created. You see what I'm saying? And it, what's funny also is, even when you are successful and you do it the legal way, people will still hate on you. Like, you'll have fucking, like, people who are TikTokers or Instagram or influencers. You have a bunch of these fucking miserable fucks out here saying, why don't you go get a real job? But it's like, if that same person was robbing and stealing, you'll tell them to go get a real job. You're stupid for stealing and shit. But if that person's like, I'm not gonna rob no more, I want to be an influencer, I want to be an NFL star, they're gonna, like, oh, they'll still hate on them. Like, it's like, people just want to see you miserable. Nobody wants to see the world good. They just want to see you as miserable as them. And when you're not as miserable as them, then they want to be like, oh, you need to go get a real job. You need to go do the. Shut the fuck up. Shit is ridiculous. That's all. I'm like, this world we live in is crazy. And it's like, because there was a time in life I used to kind of like like it's just like even when I like back in the day when I was going out and doing certain things, people used to ask me like, don't you feel bad for stealing from the store? Don't you feel bad for doing this?" And then I asked myself like, why don't I don't feel bad? And like I asked like, what do you mean feel bad? Like it got to my attention because when I used to do it, I used to not really feel bad. Like certain things I'll feel bad for. Like if it's somebody I fuck with, I would never go and do something to somebody I care about. But if it's somebody I didn't know or I didn't like give a shit about, I didn't feel bad. But then somebody asked me, "Don't you feel bad for doing certain things?" And then I was like, "Why don't I feel bad?" And then when I really looked at it, it's like I look at my life, the times where I was down, ain't nobody really gave a fuck really. So why should I care? It's like you're supposed to care for other people, but then you're not, and no one's supposed to care for you. And then when you get your shit together legally, people expect you to not somehow be have a chip on your shoulder and be narcissistic or be kind of like you're feeling yourself. So it's like it's such a confusing fucking. It's not confusing because I already know what the fuck I'm about. Like I said in the beginning of my video, like 99% of people are like I look at I'm more smarter than 99% of people. That's how I look at it. And then the other 1% I'm not smart at. It's not that they're smarter than me. It's just they're on my fucking level. So that's how I see the fucking world. Like they ain't like it ain't shit I don't know. It's everything. I know everything because I know everything. Like there's nothing I don't fucking know. And anybody that wants to debate me on that and say that, I automatically know more than you. So you need to stop trying to say that I don't know everything and go and learn more shit so you can get on my level. You see what I'm saying? So you can't even anybody has that has any problem about me saying I know everything, I automatically know more than you. And I'm gonna find solutions to my problems because when I say I know everything, it's not just about me. Oh, I know every single thing, even though it is that. It's if there's something that comes up into my scenario that's a problem, I find a solution. Why you guys think I have so much wisdom and knowledge is because I tell myself I know everything, and anytime something comes into my life that I don't know, I automatically find a solution to that problem. The life will just shape and form to present me a solution. So there's nothing I don't fucking know. Life will show me everything I need to know. So that's why I say I know everything, and I come up with you guys with all this wisdom. So, like I said, like it doesn't really phase me when people like show me those type of energies, like because motherfuckers always tell me like why I do the shit I do. Like they used to tell me that shit, and then I used to like really have to ask myself, why do I do the shit I do? And it made me just realize like why I do it. And it's because of like a lot of shit that happened to me in life that made me really not give a fuck. And it's like it's crazy. Like they'll sit there and talk about, oh, if you're a man, you're supposed to get your shit together and not complain, which I understand that. And I'm not saying that they're wrong because I tell you guys don't complain, make a way. But when you do finally make a way and you do finally get there, how are you gonna like not have a chip on your shoulder? This is how you have people like Nature Boy who like they just abuse their power because when they finally get themselves right, like I'm at a point right now where like I can't like even when it comes to women, like I can't deal with no woman, right? Like I got to myself to this point. So I can't even deal with no bitch like that. Like I don't like because like a lot of niggas they'll like want to go out and date women and shit, and like me, I generally don't want to date bitches. I want to keep it 100% with you guys. Like I don't when I'm talking like the females who watch this channel don't take this shit seriously because like I said, don't take this shit seriously. But I have to be 100% all like I don't like females like that. And when I say that, I don't. I don't like to say it like that because people think, oh, you're homosexual. And it's like, no, it's not the homosexual. It's just I don't like females as in unless I'm trying to fuck you or we got business to handle, I don't want to deal with you at all as a female. Like that's just how it is. I have a moon square my north node, so I don't really like females like that. But I don't like to say it like that because people think you're gay and like no, I've had relationship with women. I like to fuck women, but I don't like to just be around a bitch if we ain't gonna fuck or we ain't gonna do nothing. You see what I'm saying? I just don't. So like when I look at I don't even know where the fuck I was going with this, but when I look at the reasons for this, I'm like the reasons for this is because, oh yeah, I get what I'm saying. The reasons for this because in this world, the way they treat, I think it's because when I was growing up, how they treated men towards women, and it ingrained into me because, like they'll say, in order for when you to get women's attention, you have to get your shit together, and women only want men of a certain like loved one shit or who people who got their shit together. But at that point, that's like vampire to me. Like society has brought men up to look at women and men relationship to be vampire, like the woman is a vampire to the man. Like you only get the women when you master yourself, but by the time I master myself, then this is what creates people like Nature Boy. Because when Nature Boy, if Nature Boy didn't have the shit that he had, he wouldn't have been able to get those women. But since he got it to that level, then he was able to attract those women, and then he abused his power with them. And then you may say, what about men who don't abuse it? But those are the men who maybe in their natal aspect they actually genuinely give a fuck about women like that. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a crazy. So it's like the men who actually get their shit right, and then they still want to have a normal, balanced relationship with women. Those are men who actually give a fuck about like women like that. Like they care. And I like some men we just don't give a fuck. And when I say that, I don't like to say it because it makes you look. People may say, "Oh, you're homosexual." What is like? No, it's actually kind of this the contract. Not homosexual. It has to be about business. It's fucking your business. Like I can't just be a situation where I'm just around a female. We're not about to fucking be no business. There's no point, in my opinion. Like I rather go like not hang out with because what's the point? Because now I gotta emotionally dumb myself down, act a certain way. It's like you're talking to like a lesser. And I'm not saying all women are like this. Like maybe there's a woman out there that may not be like what I'm just saying, but you gotta emotionally talk yourself down. You gotta change the way you think and to say certain things, and it's like I just don't like doing it. This is why like I talk about escorts on my channel, and I'd rather just have an escort. And because I know it's a lot of people who don't even have women, they'll never talk about escorts. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, why don't you just get an escort? Like I had plenty of friends who never had sex before until they were like in their 30s and shit. And like throughout the whole time, I was like, why you haven't had sex all these years? Why don't you just get an escort? Why don't you get an escort? And I'm like, you say you want a woman. Why don't you? Even to this day, like I don't understand. And I, I I understand now actually, but I just understand recently why this is, and I'm about to tell you guys why this is. But I had friends who wouldn't have sex for years. Some of them never even had sex, and I was like, why don't you just get an escort? And then I'll see other men, MGTOW. Why don't you just get an escort? They'll talk about how they want. And what got me to the point was because they genuinely want a relationship with a woman. I've never genuinely want a relationship with a woman until and last time I had one that was a real one was I would say in my early 20s. And that was the reason I did that was because I thought that's what I wanted because I seen society everyone did because there's a lot of things in my life I've got a lot of desires I've had in my life that the only reason I have the desire is because I seen other people with those desires, and I seen the TV, video games, movies, and other people in my life have it, and it kind of made me have those desires because I thought that's what it was. So I kind of took on other people's desires as my own, thinking that's what I like. But as I kept experimenting with those desires, I didn't feel fulfilled. And then when I didn't do those desires, people will look at me like, oh, you don't do that? You're weird. And then it will kind of make me feel kind of like in a way like weird and insecure, like, oh, I need to be doing this. But in reality, I didn't really want that. So this is when I realized that I was like, okay, this is why I don't mind, because other men will be like, oh, I don't want to fucking escort, I don't want to get a girl. But it's like, and then I will feel insecure for fucking escorts and not wanting to get a girl. But in reality, I didn't want no bitch. It's just I was taking on other people's desires. So because genuinely this is just who I am. I have an Aquarius stellium, especially in Venus, and I have it in Mars in the sixth house. So automatically, the things that I like to do is unorthodox and very boring and different. Like a lot of, because I have a, since I have Venus and Mars in the sixth house, a lot of the things that I like to do, the average person may look at as boring, stupid, or just, it's just bland and dry. Even like down to my food. Like everyone used to look at me in high school, like I could, when every time I used to order a hamburger, I used to just like the lettuce and the meat, and that's it. Or if I order like fucking a burrito, I just ordered meat, rice, and beans. Like my shit was very bland and plain, and that's because that sixth house placement, Venus, Mars in the sixth house. So when it comes out sexually, Mars and Venus, that's sexually in the sixth house. I like my sexual um thing. My sexual lifestyle is very boring and plain and weird to the average person. Because food and sex is the same thing technically. It's a desire, pleasure. Mars is sixth house. So this is why like I had to learn this shit, and like it made me realize like this is just who I am. And like I don't know where I was going with this because this went all over the place, but it's just hopefully somebody can learn something from what I just fucking said. Because because I know there's a lot of people who are out there, they actually agree, they feel what I'm saying, but they can't say it because they're maybe in, they just don't feel like exposing it. But like I this is just how I am, and it's hella. I just have to be honest with you guys because I'm at a point right now where I really don't give a fuck no more, and it leads me to the beginning of my video. Like there's just certain realizations that I'm having in life, certain people that I thought were in my life who I can trust that aren't. Because a lot of things happen in my life. Like, don't just think I come up on here and everything is good with me. Things happen in my fucking life, and but I'm not gonna sit there and say everything. But things happen in my life. You guys just see me on, when you see a content creator, you just see him speaking like this, and you automatically assume everything is good in their life, or everything is just like, when I watch, when I talk and make these videos, I'm talking to myself. Don't think that I have everything together and I'm going through things and I'm talking to, and but you guys just see this aspect of me when I'm on a live speaking. You don't see when this live goes off and the things that happen, and I don't tell you guys everything. So when I make these videos, I'm speaking to myself. So this is why like I'll come up and I'll make a video about certain things, because certain things in my life may happen that spark me to make these fucking videos. So that's why you guys see my content is always fresh. Every live stream is always fresh and new, and it's because I make my videos off experience in life. Every day I'm living life and I'm experiencing, I take note, and then that's content for me. That's content for me. So it is what it is, and I'm gonna get to your comments, guys. So I just want to get this shit out here. But like it just this shit is just so weird, man. Like this shit is just so weird. And it's like, cause yeah, I remember I was saying I was going to so it's like they put men in this state, and I don't want to just say men because this is women too. It's women is in a different way, and I'm gonna go into it in another way because I know there's some women who watch my channel, and I don't want to make it look like I don't like, because there may be somebody out there who is a female who like, because I'm at a point even like right nowadays, like I'm at a point right now where as I get my shit together and as I do things, I don't even think I want a female who actually even works or does anything. I'd rather just have a female who just can support. Because I'm looking at a lot of these women out here and that they work 9 to 5s or they do shit and they're just so damaged because this system has damaged them. So it's taken the whole femininity out of them and it's damaged the fuck out of them because most of these bitches are forced to go work at these jobs, and like 99% of women I see who have a 9 to 5 who are in this system who have to survive, they're damaged. And it's at a point right now where I don't even, this is part of the reason why a lot of men will say passport, bro, go to another country, because when you go to certain other countries, the system isn't typically the same, especially if you go to these lower income countries. They don't really have the same type of system as here. It's more just different. So the women are more able to be in their femininity versus out here, women are damaged because any female that's um in a work environment, they're gonna be toxic, they're gonna be damaged because if they have to be in their masculinity. Like Jay Vass, one of the subscribers who watch my channel, he's in the military. Like I'm not telling him what to do, but if I was in the military, I would not deal with any female in the military because the military in itself, I don't want to talk bad about military, but to be in the military, for most people, I'm not gonna say all, you have to be mentally unhinged and something kind of be, it's kind of like, it's a kind of be, I'm not saying everybody in the military, but most people in the in the military are mentally ill, because to be, even to sign up for that, knowing what they do, it takes some type of character, even for them to accept you. This is why they put you through basic training and all that, because you gotta, it's more than just basic training, it's mental training, everything. You got to take all these tests because they want to make sure your mind is in a certain way. Even if there's somebody who could pass the test, if you don't pass that written test, they're not going to accept you, because they make that written test to a point where you have to be a certain way. This is why every time you see a police, every time you see a military, every time you see an ambulance worker or a government official, they all have the same energy, because they have to, in order to get into that career, you have to pass that. So when you're dealing with women in these careers, you know they're damaged. So you should, I wouldn't even want to deal with no female if I was in that career. But yet let again, if you're a man, for most men, I'm not gonna say all, if you're a man in that career, you probably would get along with them because you're actually in that career. So it's like, shit is crazy. Like it's sad that it's, because this is another reason I don't like dealing with females like that, because I don't want to fucking babysit and take care of no bitch my whole life, but at the same time I don't want to date no female who works or who's got her own shit together. I'd rather have a female that supports. Because you, anytime you dating a female in this day and age, you want to make sure she's lives, like, this is why it's kind of conflicts. A lot of you guys say you don't want to take care of no bitch, but at the same time, if you want a real female, she has to live with you, she has to be with you, she has to be, you gotta damn near be like a babysitter to actually get a real female nowadays. Anytime you guys are like, you depending on her, or it's like half, then that's where that toxicity lies in. So it's kind of confusing, because you don't want to be on the side to take care of the bitch, but then you say you want to, but if you go and you do half, or you go and you stay with the bitch at her house, that's toxicity right there. This is how, you never want to give the female any power to, when she leaves, she can just ruin your fucking life. This is why you have to do it in a certain way. But if you do it in a certain way, it's gonna be like you're taking care of the bitch, but not really. This is what this one guy, I forgot his name, he said, what you do is you have the bitch move in with you, if you're gonna date any women, and you have her pay all her money she gets, she puts into an account that has both of your guys' name on it, or your name on it. So she's paying, but so like, you have you always want to put yourself in a position where you have more leverage of the relationship of with a female in this day and age. You never want to make it where it's half. And I'm not saying be disrespectful, or this is about you having control, because you don't want to be in a situation where somebody can ruin your life. You want to be able to, if, because when you're dealing with women, they get very emotional. One day they can be cool, the next day they could be upset, because they're more emotional. They have a period which caters and it adds to the emotion. It's not exclusive to that, but it adds to what's already going on. And if you like, so, because some men will look at what I'm saying as fucked up, but some women, they can handle their emotions more better than others. Some women, they'll go and at the drop of a dime will make a drastic decision and not allow a man to see their kids. They may not do whatever the fuck it is, and because of that, it will all be because of an emotion. So this is why I'm saying you have to be very careful and not put yourself in a position where a female can take actual leverage over the situation. But the only way to do that is to kind of be in a way where you have to, it looks like she's using you, like Nature Boy's case, how he was taking care of all these bitches, but yet any of them got out of line, he could just kick them to the curb. If you make it where, oh, she got to pay up, or she got to do this, and you make it where she's too dependent, when it comes to a situation, then she's got to take half of whatever you were building over an emotion. So it leaves me in a conflicted, like, how do I do this? I don't want to be a babysitter and take care, but I also don't want to make it where she's putting in so many ends and it's half where she could just take half and ruin everything. Like you going half on an apartment, and then she gets angry, and then now you can't pay half the rent. But this is why I say you see what I'm saying? It's kind of conflicting. So it's like I don't know how to even deal with this shit. And then society creates these fucking synthetic thoughts and these fake ass energies, and it creates this situation we're in, and it this shit is crazy. I hate this shit. Like this play, we live in a damaged society, man, and nobody sees it. And you know how we live in a damaged society is you see crime, you see rape, you see murder, you see robbery. Because remember when I told you this is why we have peace officers. Peace officers are supposed to keep the peace, but there is no peace. When they say peace, they're not talking about peace like in Zen and you just relaxing. That's not peace. Anytime the system is talking about peace, such as peace officers or act civilized, that means hold in all your negative emotions and desires you have towards this system and hold it in. And when you hold it in, this is what drives the average person mentally ill. And when you can't hold your mental illness in, this is when a domestic dispute, a murder, a rape, a robbery, or some type of negative energy, depending on the person and what negative desires they have, it expresses themselves. You see what I'm saying? And then now the police, the peace officers come and they correct that person by sending them to the correctional facility because you can't hold in your negative emotions that this system created. This is also why they have therapists, psychiatrists to help people not heal, because the medical industry, the Western medical industry, doesn't help people heal. It helps people contain their negative emotions they have that is constructed from the system so it doesn't be a problem for everyone. This is why they have a psych ward. A psych ward does not heal mentally ill people. It keeps mentally ill people from expressing their mental illness onto other people, so this capitalist system can keep running. Because if they let everybody out the correctional facility and mental illness, their main concern is not going to be about other people getting hurt. They don't care about other people getting hurt. Their main concern is their system going to keep flowing? That's what they care about. If you let everybody out from jail in the mental illness, they're not going to make money because everybody's going to be too in fear to go to work. So that's their concern. Just like when you hear an ambulance coming and the ambulance is driving 100 miles an hour, and it's like you hear the sirens. They say, get out the way, somebody can get killed. The Matrix doesn't care about that person. They're not looking at it the way you look at it. You're looking at it like, oh, somebody's gonna get killed, we need to help that person. They're looking at it as like that's a stock, that's a bond, that's dying, that we're not going to be able to make as much money from him dead, so we need to hurry up and let that bond, that stock, that because it's a stock like a cow, we need to go and save that stock so he could wake up. Because if that person that's dying, if he's a lawyer or he's a corporate owner, or he owns a lot of stake in investments, if he's dead, it's gonna fuck up the stock market, the bond market, the money. It's gonna fuck up how the system flows, the energy. So we need to make sure he's alive so he could get back to the plantation and work. That's what they're looking at. So that's where you see an ambulance. That's what it's there. That's what it is. You think that, oh, they're just trying to help this guy because he's about to die and they care about, no, that's, this system is fucking, it's fucked up. Once you know how the system operates, then you'll see what's going on. We live in a fucked up world. They don't give a fuck about you in this world. It's all about money. It's all about performing and keeping the peace, keeping you sane so you can keep on. This is why they don't care about you. They just care about you working and just get through it. Who gives a fuck if you're depressed? This is why they program everybody shut up and go to work. Because if you don't go to work, their system isn't going to run. So you guys got to understand what's going on. They don't give a fuck about you in this system. And this is what creates a lot of crime. This is what creates a lot of angry people. This is why that one black kid, he didn't have no sympathy. He pushed that old ass lady and busted her fucking skull. And then you had stupid ass dumb fucks. Like what upsets me is the amount of ignorance you see. Like you'll see somebody who's broke, who doesn't have shit, and then they'll go out and then they'll do something like what the black kid did, knowing black kids who grew up in the hood in their situation, knowing that and all the shit they have to go through, your ignorant ass has the audacity to ask a stupid question like, how can he do something like this? Like, what do you mean, how can he do something? Do you know what world we live in, you fucking idiot? Like, even if you're in your little fucking fake ass abode and you're sheltered from society and you think everything's perfect, have some common sense to know that not everybody is in that same sphere of reality where nothing happens to you because you live on your little high horse in the fucking hills. Like, at least have the capacity to think that why people are doing the shit they're doing, you fucking idiot. Are you really that ignorant? Like, that's the problem. And since people don't want to look at it like how I'm looking at it, this is why it keeps happening. If everyone looked at it like how I looked at it, even though you guys may think it's fucked up, not you guys, but the dumbass sheep would think it's fucked up. If everyone at least looked at it how I looked at it, the problem wouldn't even be like this anymore, or wouldn't be as severe, because people would recognize what the fuck is going on. This is why I say we live in this shit is crazy. Like, because when you guys see something in society happen, you guys just look at the person. I'm looking at, like, look what the system caused. Like, why did this person get so upset to even get in that? Like, they said it was a story about some cop shot somebody in the some gang member shot somebody in the back, and then they're like, oh, the gang member had criminal history. He should have been in jail. It's the DA. It's the governor's fault for not locking him behind bars. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. Are you fucking serious? Like, you're gonna just sit there and blame that? You're not gonna blame the situations that this nigga probably grew up since a child to being grown. Even if you want to go back to, let's just say that the gang member was a child, he got abused in a household, and he got hit by his dad who was drunk. The reason his dad was drunk was because of the system, because the system put his dad in a situation for him to have to go to work, be stressed out, to drink. Then he took out his stress on his kid. Maybe he fucking sexually abused the kid, did whatever. Not saying it's an excuse, but it all resorted from the stresses of the system and all the way they place it, the things they place in the system and the things they don't place in the system. Even all the way down to, like, even sexual abuse. There's certain things that this system can do to eliminate sexual abuse in the fucking household at a young age, but they don't do that. They just ignore that shit willingly, so then they can make money off their organizations and lock people in prisons, so they can have a sex crime unit, so they can fund that and make money through that. Because if there was no sex crimes, they won't need no sex crime unit. They wouldn't need all this shit. There's things that they can do and put, but they don't do that because it's such a sick world we live in. And then they want to just blame the person, whereas, like, no, these motherfuckers who run this shit, they're to blame. And I'm not saying the person who did it shouldn't get no punishment, but when is it gonna end? When the fuck is it gonna end? Like, are we just gonna keep, like, if you're like, let me give an example. I'm trying to find an example. Like, if there's like fucking like wolves coming to your house, and you're like, I want these wolves to not be by my house, but every time you leave your house, there's meat there. Somebody keeps putting meat there. Are you gonna just keep killing the wolves, or are you gonna actually remove the meat? You want to remove the meat so the meat's not there, so there's no more wolves. You don't just keep killing the wolves as they come, but leave the meat there. That's fucking stupid. But the reason they will want to keep killing the wolves, because anytime you want to kill a wolf, you have to get a gun, you have to get bullets, and you have to buy guns and buy bullets. So now they have a reason to not remove the meat, because they can make money off guns and bullets. So you have to keep buying it from them, so you can keep killing them. That's exactly how the system is. And stupid ass people don't even want to recognize that shit. This shit is crazy. And then they have all these the fake ass justice system. The justice system is all fake. They only use it's all based on convenience. This is why you'll see certain people, like you'll see certain laws they enforce sometimes, and then sometimes they don't enforce it because it's all fake. They actually want crime. They has to be there. It just, when you see police do not get rid of crimes. Police only mitigate crime to keep it balanced. Because they can't, this system operates off crime. They can't have too much of it though. because it's not good for the system. But they also can't have too little, because if there's too little crime, the system is still compromised. Because that leaves a society where people are actually healing and not feeling stressed. So you need people stressed in this type of system because it's a vampiric system. So you need crime, but you can't have it too much or too little. It has to be just right. That's what the police force is to mitigate it. It's not to get rid of crime. Because why the fuck do the crime statistics keep rising over year? And usually when it rises, it's usually a narrative. That means they're allowing it to rise. That's why some cities you go to, like, they'll have you think that California is lawless. They're fucking stupid. If you actually, at least me, because I'm a wise, I look at shit. I stay here, so when I see the crime happening, you can tell, like, they in some cities they allow it. They'll tell the police force, or they'll do certain things to make the police not come at certain times, because in certain cities they want the crime to go up for a specific amount of time. They're going to clean it up eventually, but they want it to go up, and they'll allow it to go on. And when you call the police, people say, oh, nobody comes for like 20-30 minutes. But if a certain type of person calls the police in a certain neighborhood, depending on the city, they're going to come quick. There's certain places you can't even go that they're gonna come fast, because it's a certain jurisdiction and they don't play that shit. It's only certain areas that they allow the crime to go up, because it's like a beta test. They want to do a narrative or a test beta so they can put it on the news and make it look like certain things are lawless, because they may want to get businesses out of here. Like they don't want they like what I'm thinking is they don't want people to open up businesses here, or they don't want certain types of people to open up business here. So this is why they're doing all these laws and taxes, and they make crime, and they make all these people run in people's stores and rob them. So the small businesses have to fucking move out, because there's so many, there's like thousands of small businesses that were fucking closed since this fucking pandemic, because people have been robbing them and shit. Like if you and it's like it's for real, and it's to a point where a store will get robbed so many times a week. And it's like you can tell this shit is orchestrated. Like, you're not telling me that this is fake. So like they know what the fuck they're doing. Ain't no fucking law, because for you to say that is lawless is saying that these people are running shit. Ain't nobody running shit. Look at El Salvador. There was thousands of gang members that they just swooped up and put in a big ass mega prison. If they can do that, what the fuck is this little shit over here? That's what I'm saying. She said, personally, I've never had sex because I don't want to get a woman pregnant with an STD. I could have sex with a couple of women, but refuse. I don't trust. Don't let that get to you. If you really want to have sex, you should go and have sex. Don't let that get to you. Don't let that be an excuse. You should at least enjoy your life and shit. Go. Don't let that get to you at all. If anything, go get an escort or some shit and go use some type of um condom, whatever. Go use something so you don't end up getting nothing. Don't let that go, because that's the thing. You don't want to think too much. If you generally don't want to have sex, then don't. But like if you want to, but that's your only reason, because you don't want to get some female pregnant or whatever, like that shouldn't even be a reason. Because I understand you. I don't want to I do not want to have no kids in this world. And it's not even that, oh, like I hate kids and fuck kids. It just, this system has created like that narrative and that operation or mind control that they did to not make people have kids. That shit worked, because they fuck society up to the point where I don't want kids, to be honest. And they even fuck society up to the point where women and men can't even get along. Like that shit was successful as far as right now. That shit worked because they did a number on people where like nobody wants kids no more. And that's in the plan, because if you look up this whole anti-natalism shit and all these Gen Z and how they're talking about anti-natalism and all this, it's so fucking obvious that this is all government crafted and shit. Yeah, if that's what you rather do, then that's what you rather do. Like at the end of the day, ask yourself, do you really want to do that, or are you just doing that based upon is that really your true desire, or you're taking on other desires that aren't yours? Like, you got to ask yourself that. Like, because if you do what you really find out what you really want, because one thing a lot of people don't understand is a lot of the things you like and you do is not really you. You don't really like the shit that you think you like. Like let's just say somebody who does drugs though all their whole life. It's like they when they were doing drugs, they at one point liked doing the drug. But once they sober, they clean up and they actually bettered their life, they look back like, man, I wasted all those fucking years. Well, how did I do that? Or like you're like a grown ass man right now. Do you go play with Hot Wheels? Do you watch the same TV programming like Nick Jr. and Power Rangers? You don't watch it because you're not into that desire no more. But your spirit is still the same. Your spirit who's observing that is still the same shit. But why don't you like that? Because you got rid of that desire. It's the same fucking thing. No different. So you got to understand, like, the things that you like now. This is why you want to tap into your true self so you can figure out your true desires. Because anytime you're doing shit that isn't unhealthy, you don't like, you're that's not you. I remember back in 2016, there was fucking this is why I tell you guys, like, even when it comes to the food and the dieting, all of that is programming the food you like. I remember back in 2016, I there was like street tacos, like the truck, that used to be my favorite food to eat. And I remember 2016, fucking when I ate that shit, I looked up information about health and healing and herbs, and I was like, well, I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna not eat garbage and junk food. And this was back in around 2016, 2017. I remember when I got some food from the truck, and I looked at it and I was like, I can't eat this dead meat. This is disgusting, and it was gross. Fast forward to like a year later, I just started eating it and I started being off my path, and I remember I was eating that shit again and I was like craving it. And even to this day, like, there's a lot of food I don't eat anymore, I don't like, but I still kind of fuck with tacos and shit every now and then. So this is what I'm telling you guys, like, you don't really like a lot of the shit you like. It's all programming. And you have to deprogram yourself into like other new things. But a lot of you guys think that, oh, I like it, so it's me. Because nobody's really told you your desires aren't really truly yours. Like, you can change your desires and shit, and it's not even you're changing it. It's just you have true, real desires that your spirit wants, but then your ego comes and is influenced by this demonic world. So you take on shit that's not really that you don't like, that you really don't like. And then and then by the time you end up getting rid of those desires, you're gonna have a lot of regret. You're gonna be like, "Fuck! I wasted all that money. I wasted all that time, and I really didn't like that shit." That's why you want to hurry up and really figure out who you are. You want to figure out who you are so you don't waste time. Because you'll be like, I wasted all that money. You got to be looking at all the money you spent on all that shit, all the time you spent having to go and get it, having to do this, that. And some of that shit you're doing right now. But you have to get yourself to that point. I'm not saying it's easy, but you have to really get yourself to that point. That's why I give you guys the blueprint on how to get there by fasting, yoga, qigong, meditation, breath work. That's how you really start the cleanse. And then as you're doing this on a deep level, you will get better. Because it's a spiritual thing. It's not mainly you got to do this. This is why nobody can really tell you how to go within, because going within is mainly you proving to the universe or to the spirit that you can do what you got to do. And as you keep proving it, it will grant you some things. It's like, let me tell you guys something. Like, when I started my fasting back in 2020 or 2019, when I was doing a certain method and I was doing it seriously. I felt, because I told you guys I was sick and I had a very, this what got me into fasting. Some of my best fasts to this day was in the beginning. A lot of you guys will think it's now because I've healed more, but the more I've gotten healed, if I like when I was on my spiritual path 5 years ago, I was healing and I felt good. But 3-4 years later, like a year or two ago, I was healed. I felt more mentally better than 2019, but at the same time I didn't, because I got off my path a little. So the spirit made it where I wasn't able to fully enjoy. Like a lot of you guys say, when I get money, I'm gonna be happy. When I get a new car, I'm gonna be happy. If you can't be happy now, then when you get that new car, that money, the spirit is gonna make it where the money and the car doesn't fulfill you. That's the best way I could put it. Nothing physically can fulfill you. You may say you need a new place, you need money, you need whatever you think you need right now, and you think it's gonna make you happy. If you can't create happiness right now, if you can't do what you got to do to get on the road to happiness right now, even if you were to get it, the spirit will make it where it doesn't fulfill you. It's not gonna fulfill you. So this is why you need to disregard the external thing and just worry about doing what you got to do to get yourself into that mindset authentically without anything external, because it will make it where that thing doesn't bring you fulfillment. And then let's just say some people may say, well, it could bring me fulfillment, and you may try to force it, or maybe let's just say somehow it brought you some fulfillment. It will make it where that thing that you got, you may be fulfilled by it, and you may, let's just say it fulfills you, that thing will be a catalyst in your misery. So you may say, oh, I want a car to fulfill me, and you get the car, you cheat, and you get there. Somebody can rob the car can break down, the car can malfunction, and if something's got to happen, which is going to bring you back to that state that you were feeling before you got it, to make you realize that. Because think about it, if you're not truly happy with yourself and you get something external, imagine if you lost that thing external. You're going to be so miserable. But if you're genuinely happy with yourself and then you get something external, you can lose that thing. You don't give a fuck, because you know you can get it again. This is why you want to be in a state of authenticity before you get the things you think you want. Because if you just go and get it, then it's not going to bring you fulfillment. Or when you lose the spirit may just take it away from you, to make you feel great devastation. Be like, I told you to work on your happiness, because if you worked on your happiness and you would have lost the thing, because we all lose shit. Nothing just stays with you forever. Things break. Things happen. If you lost it, then you would have been in a mental state to get it again. But now you're devastated. You can't even live without it. You're depressed. You're thinking about it all the time. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's showing you you fucked up. You didn't do it the right way. That's what I'm telling you niggas. Like, you really gotta know what's going on here. See, like, that's why I like to give you guys solutions. Like I like how I broke down the beginning, and I give you solutions to get you looking to get you looking optimistic about it. I don't want you just looking pessimism about the situation, because that's what they want you. They want you to speak about the negatives about shit. Because this world we live in can be negative, and it is not can be. It is negative, but at the same time, we don't have to subscribe to that shit. Because I like to give solutions. Because one thing is, when you know everything, it's not about just you knowing everything on an instance. It's about the things you don't know, you automatically get an answer and a solution to. So this is why you always want to tell yourself you know everything all the time, because you will get solutions to what you need to know. And shout out to Mooney Mercury. Shout out to him. Everybody go subscribe to his channel. I'm sure you guys already have, but yeah, shout out to Mooney Mercury. Yeah. It's another strong spirit right there. Very few strong people in this world that actually know what the fuck's going on. Very few. But we're gonna get there. It may take a few 100 years or 1,000 years, but we're gonna get there. At the end of the day, time really ain't really a factor. Even though it'll be good to have it quicker, it is what it is. Shit, like, eventually it's gonna get to that point. We're gonna get to that point. Because there's no way they're not going to be able to run this shit forever. They can't. Like, even if they run it for another 1,000 years, what the fuck is 1,000 years? What's 2,000? What's 10,000 years to the spirit? Eventually, it's gonna come to that time where that shit is over, and they're gonna still want to fight for it, because The people who run this shit, they want to run this shit for forever, which is impossible. So even if it takes another 10,000 years, once we get to that 10,000 years when it's done, they're going to still try to fight to keep going because they want this shit to happen for forever. But this shit can't go on for forever, especially at the rate right now, how we got certain people kind of like waking the fuck up now. Like, yeah, external pleasures don't fulfill you. I get tired of the stuff I wanted. I got you. Exact. That's another example. That's another example. You listen to the same song and you get tired of it. You're doing the same shit. You get tired of it. Nothing really fulfills you fully. The only thing that fulfills you is you doing the mission, you staying on your purpose, you being authentic. That's the only thing that really is truly fulfilling. And that's another program they have people thinking that they can be fulfilled forever. This is why they have the consumerism going on to make people think, oh, I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna buy this. But it's like, even when you look at all these people who got all this, because I like to look at shit. Even when you see all these like millionaires and all these people, because I always look at people who have all the money, who have all the fame, who have all the things that they say society you should have to be happy. I like to look at these people from a certain like just observation. And like when I look at these people, like some of these people aren't really truly happy. Even in some of them, they may give off the impression they're happy. It's like it's not the way you think it is. It's like you can see that they're not really truly. Some of them, because the ones that are truly happy are the ones who've done the inner work. The ones that haven't done the inner work, they're pretty much addicts, and their addiction is external things. So like a drug addict, when they're depressed or when they're sad or when they need a fix, they got to go get high. There's people who don't even do drugs. They just have money, but they haven't worked on self. So whenever they're depressed, whenever they're sad, they have to go and spend money. They got to go buy things. But nobody looks at it like as a drug addict, just like with the food thing. They don't look at certain things because of the way society has programmed you and brought you up. But these are all forms of addiction. Just like if a drug addict wants to snort a line because he's depressed, that's that's looked at down and negative in society. But if a person who wants to go out and take a trip to Cabo, buy a Lamborghini, he's looked at, oh, he's just trying to show, he's just expressing his success and he worked hard for that. But they're not looking at some of these people, not all of them, but some of these people are in a state of needing some type of coping, or they need some type of external gratification or validation. So this is why they do certain things. This is why they have to post on Instagram so much. Like somebody may post their life on Instagram. Oh, I have all these riches and I have all this money on Instagram. I'm famous and I'm rich. But it's like the fact that you have to keep doing that shows you care about other people's validation. Like, why do you care about somebody's validation to that extent? That's the real thing. Like that shows you're not truly happy with them. Why you need somebody to look at you and say, "Oh, you're rich. Oh, you got money. Why do you need that validation?" That shows there's something wrong with you. Because you should be able to spend your riches and prove to yourself you're happy. You shouldn't need to show it off. I'm not saying you don't. It's good to like tell people your success, but if you always got to keep gloating and showing it off, that shows there's something lacking within you. That means that money didn't really bring you happiness. Because if it really brought you happiness, you wouldn't feel the need to have to keep showing it off to everybody. That means that means the people that you're showing, because look at, if an influencer has to always show off his money and always gloat and make it look like he's the shit, that's going to be the same influencer that's going to be moments away from cutting his wrist if a scandal was presented, because whatever makes you extremely happy makes you extremely sad. If you get so much orgasm and get wet off a fucking Instagram post of you showing your money, then if somebody showed a post of you slipping and falling on a banana peel, you're going to have just as much embarrassment, because you can't say something brings you extreme happiness, but that same thing can't bring you extreme sadness. You see what I'm saying? If you make $1 million, you're going to be happy, but if somebody stole $1 million from you, you're going to be just as sad. That same happiness is going to invert and get to sadness. So it's the same thing with somebody who always got to show off, or they always got to glow, or that's a person who's very insecure. So he needs, if society validates him on his money, he's gonna feel wet off that and be like, "Oh, I'm the shit." But if society were to slander him and throw him down, he's gonna feel low of himself. He doesn't have an equilibrium balance of like, I know who I am, so I don't give a fuck. Because if you don't give a fuck about what somebody says, then you don't give a fuck about the positive or the negative. You take it into heart. You take the positive for what it is. You take the negative for what it is. So did you guys always gotta keep that in mind when you see these motherfuckers out here that feel the necessary need to gloat all the time? These are very damaged people, and it's a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. He's like, "How's it going?" It's going good. Yeah, but how's it going for you? Shout out to Ralph. Yeah, I'm just talking about a few things. Just waking the people up. Well, not even really waking nobody, because you can't wake nobody up. I'm just sharing my thoughts through my experiences on life. That's all I'm doing. I'm not waking no one up. You can't wake no one up. A lot of the shit people say, like waking people up, a lot of that cliche shit, people just say that just so they can feel some type of way. They want to feel good, or they watch so much social media, so then they'll say certain words and lingos, which sometimes I may say it too, because I'm the real channel, so I'll tell you guys what it is. But I try to get myself to speak to you guys authentically as possible. I don't like to take people's shit and like me, the way I look at it, like if I take it, because I take information, because we all watch social media, so there's nobody who says they can't. But when you take information, I like to formulate it and put it through my lens and use that information in my reality, so it's catered to me, so then I can make it into my own form. That's how I like to use information. I don't like to just copy people shit or say people shit. I like to I use it as in, how does it play out in reality and in real life through my perception, and then that's where I come back and then I'll be able to explain on it further. And sometimes when you do it like that, you go even deeper than some of these people who may say something, because they're just saying it based on them copying somebody. They're not really actually using it in life. You just came back from Africa. That's what's up. You probably feel hella rejuvenated. I know when I came back from the UK, I felt hella rejuvenated. Like, I was glad I was back, because I was gone for 2 months when I went. So you probably feel hella rejuvenated. Everything looks fresh and different because you feeling that new energy, because you're in a different part of the world. So everything is, the energy is a lot different here than the Africa. So you probably feel the energies more than we feel it, because we're used to it. So that's good. That you should take advantage of that energy and start doing something with that energy, because pretty soon you're gonna be back to fucking square one. Well, not square. I won't say back to square one, but you're gonna be kind of like, your energy's gonna be lower. Yeah, just because you're a strong spirit. Yeah, there's very few strong spirits in this world. That's one thing I'm realizing. Very, very few strong spirits in this world. Yeah, a lot of a lot of like, a lot of fucking mind control going on. Everything. There's even mind control to get people, get you to think that some strong spirits are actually strong, but in reality they're really not. They're just weak spirits. But my battery's about to go down, guys. So I'm gonna have to end this live stream. I'm at 5%, and so I'm about to come back a little later and hit you guys up with some more. And yep, I'm out.